Do you think Spurs could finish top 4 this season?
100%. I think if you look at, first of all, when the new manager came in, I was like, wow, that's a statement, because he's a winner and he wants to win now. His character, you know, everywhere he's been, he's won trophies. You know, he's won the Premier League, of course, and I think when I looked at the numbers, I remember looking at the running stats, and they were like 12, like bottom of the league, and all of a sudden, in such a short space of time, to sort of like to get that sort of improvement, to be first, it's like I remember speaking to some of the people at Tottenham. I said, what does he do? Because that's amazing to do that because normally you need like a pre-season to get the team really fit, but to produce those sort of numbers, and obviously winning games as well with it, it's just like he's a special manager. And like I said, and I still feel like there's a lot to come, because it's been like sort of like stop, start, and games count, all that sort of stuff. Obviously because of COVID and stuff. So I just feel like when you get that sort of consistency, and you can obviously the games come, I think Tottenham have got a great chance of finishing 4th, of course.
Looking at it, Jermain, I think that the race for top 4, along with the relegation battle, is probably the most exciting thing going just now, because I think my own personal opinion is it looks as though City are away with it. However, we spoke about Spurs, who have been, you know, a bit up and down. I don't think there's any getting away from that. But I want to ask you about my old pal Moisey and West Ham. You've got to be impressed with what's going on. I know they were beaten at the weekend, but which was a great game at home to Leeds United.
Yeah.
However, I think you've got to be impressed with the job that he's doing there, and indeed the performances of West Ham.
Unbelievable. It's been so good watching, to be honest. And yeah, when you look at sort of like where they are now, a lot of people be like, oh, it's amazing what he's done, and a surprise. But you know, I worked with him at Sunderland, and I said before how it was just amazing. It impressed me so much, especially with the senior players. What is that with the senior players, where he literally would... I remember he called me and John O'Shea upstairs into his office, and he just basically said, right, I just want you two to sort of like just run the dressing room. Just run the dressing room, and then make sure that all the younger lads and all the boys are doing the right things, and just lead by example, which was good. Training was always good. You know, we did a lot of possessions, and I think that surprised me. But obviously, his time in Spain probably you can see that he spent time in Spain, because obviously, you know, people talk about tiki-taka and all the possessions that they do, and rondos and all that sort of stuff and that. So every day we do, like, the training was always good, always sharp. And leading up to the game, I remember on a Friday, he'd always do, so we'd do like a game. We'd do like a game on a Friday, which you always do. And then what he would do is he'll name the team. So the rest of the players that are not playing, they'll sort of like go over and continue playing a five-a-side, smaller areas. And then he'll take the team over onto a pitch, and we'd literally do like a walkthrough, but it's unopposed, no ball or anything. We'd be outside for about 45 minutes, and he would go through every single detail, tick every single box to make sure that you're fully prepared, you know, in and out of possession, set pieces and everything. And, you know, his attention to detail was just crazy. It's mad.
What's he like man on man, as
cool.
as a manager to a person?
He's good. Because I remember speaking to Sam, right, Big Sam, and we were in, it was pre-season, and there was loads of speculation, oh, Sam's going to get the England job. So the boys come to me and they were like, JD, just say to him, just go to the gaffer. I said, come on, like, the gaffer loves you. Just go to the gaffer and say to him, Gaffer, you leaving? So I thought, okay then. So I remember we went on a walk, right? And I thought, you know, you're trying to, like, you know, one of those ones where you want to ask your mum when you want to go out, and you go to the door and you walk away, you go to... So I thought, okay, I'm just going to go up to him and ask him. So I just walked up to him and I said, Gaffer, so you get an England job? And he was like, because to be fair, you can approach him about anything. He was brilliant. And he was like, yeah, good chance. So I was like, okay then, cool, no problem. Who's coming in? He was like, I think Moisey. I said, what's he like? He said, well, he's not like me. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. Obviously, he's different to me, but he's brilliant and that. Because I always thought, oh, Moisey is really intense and stuff like that. It'd be completely different. He was like, proper. You can approach him, just go in his office, you can talk about stuff. Football mad, of course. But it's just so nice to see what he's done there. Because obviously it was a difficult time for him at Sunderland and obviously at Man United. But now you can see how good he is.
Yep.
How much do you think they need to dip into the market? And where do you think they need to cover?
Probably needs to get another forward, to be honest. Because I think when I think about Antonio, I think to go from like a fullback to like a goal scoring number 9, I mean, it's just like when you watch him play, he does all the things that a forward should do. Because I watch, like, he scores goals, of course, but I watch little things that he does, and I think that's what you do for years. They teach you that as a kid, you know, getting across the front post, all this sort of stuff, coming short, spinning behind, just relentless running. And when you look at his goals as well, all different types of goals, you'd think that he's been playing there his whole life. Obviously, he's still young, but I think if they can sort of like still get another forward that can come in and help him, goals win games, and I think that would be great.
That was a Moyes move, wasn't it, to bring him from out wide into a more central position? That was David Moyes' brainchild to do that for him. In terms of where else they need to strengthen, because there are a lot of games at the moment, and West Ham already now, these fixtures when they get moved as well, the Norwich game in between the two Leeds games, they weren't happy about that, their position in Europe, those kind of things. Do you think they need another centre-back as well?
They probably do. And you talk about the spine of the team, and obviously you've got the goalkeeper, you got centre-back and a top midfielder in Declan Rice and a forward in Antonio, and we spoke about another forward. If they can get in another defender, just to kick on. The second part of the season is so important. The first part of the season, you can do well in that, but then I suppose in the second part of the season, if you you tail off a little bit, then people forget that. Do you know what I mean? People forget what you've done in the first part of the season. So I think if they could do some business and get a top centre back in, then of course that will help the squad. Yeah.
Jermain, I want to take you back across the city, if I may, to Spurs, a club that you obviously know well. Go back to, I think the last trophy was 2008, which, for a team like Spurs, I think, just about unacceptable, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Now, I look at Spurs, and on their day, they're a fantastic watch, but the thing that would bother me, and probably bothers Spurs fans as well, is just the lack of consistency that they show. What do you think Spurs need to make the next step?
I mean, obviously I've still got a lot of Spurs fans, and obviously I can understand the frustration, but I mean, it's such an amazing football club. When you're when I loved my time there, the fans are great, the stadium is phenomenal, the training ground, the facilities, so the players have got everything that they need, and now obviously in the manager in Conte. But I remember Conte saying about getting a fullback in, because you got to think about how he plays and how high the fullbacks are, and a lot of your good stuff comes from your fullbacks, especially where the game is now. And talking about another forward, because there's been so much pressure on Harry Kane for years, and to be honest, he's produced world-class striker. Obviously, it's been difficult for him this year for probably many reasons, and sometimes it's always difficult. Back end of a tournament, you probably only get 3 weeks off. Fatigue physically, mentally. So I don't know if they can get in another forward that can score goals as well. Then for Tottenham, it'd be good, because, like I said before, Antonio Conte, he wants to do well, he wants to win now, and the top four is so important for that club. You
were part of that side that won the 2008 League Cup trophy medal. Do you think, in terms of Conte, like you said at the beginning, he's a winner, isn't he? He's a proven winner. He goes in and he wins things. How important is it just to top four would be incredible for Spurs, who've slipped away in the last couple of seasons, or at least since Poch went.
Yeah.
How important is it just to get some piece of silverware, not just for the manager but for the club? That's
what he wants. That's. I can imagine probably managers come in and stuff like that, and they they talk to the players, and I can imagine that he said, right, we need to win. We need to win something. Not only for the players but for the fans. The fans deserve it as well. It's been a long time, and a club of that size, you look at the players, should be winning obviously more, and I can imagine at some point it will happen, because I mean, he wins everywhere. Everywhere he goes, he wins trophies, and he's definitely the right man to do it. And I believe it will happen soon, hopefully.
Just a couple more messages before we go to our next break. I'm an Arsenal fan, but always highly rated Jermain Defoe. Do you like that one from an Arsenal fan?
Yes.
Surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, very.
This one's from Wayne Westcott. He says, I listen to The Breakfast Show every day without fail and genuinely love it, but today has been amazing with Jermain Defoe being on. I'm a lifelong Spurs fan, but even without that connection, what an amazing person. Thanks for all the memories too. #legend, he says. One more here from Ryle. He says, it's so good to hear Jermain Defoe on this morning. Ready-made for a job in media when he hangs up his boots, knowledgeable and sounds like a top bloke. Do you fancy it?
Yeah, I just like talking there.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.